guys. I want you to enjoy this evening. This is a little bit different. We're going underground. And Maxx is going to divulge some secrets of our area. And I want to introduce you now to Max Wheeler, whose real name is spelled with one X, but he uses two X's, not as a rating system, but just as a novelty so people recognize him from other Maxes. And here he is, and he's going to introduce his photo.
Thank you for having us here. And when I say have us, it's more than just me that when we do this, it's a group effort. So when I started this in 2014, I started gathering others that were familiar with what we do, and we learned as we went. Nick met me when I was working at Walmart. Or it may have been before that. He was just really eager, and I thought, if a person's got a spirit like this, let's just do it. And we kind of narrowed it down to just he and I. So, first of all, I like to ask this when I do these discussions, who is familiar with what we do? Have you seen the YouTube channel?
Yep.
Okay, good. You know those videos come with a low, ominous suspense music for a reason, and that is because that's what we feel like when we're in there. Even though it's completely silent, there is no sound. But I feel like it speaks to you in huge voices, like it's just been there for so long, and telling us, you're welcome, just be careful. Now when I'm looking at my phone, let me introduce you, Nick Jones.
Good to see you all.
What you're seeing on the screen, by the way, that's the new book that just came out, and I just got it today, and I can get many more copies. It has a QR code to scan from a mile away, it looks, and that takes right to the Amazon. And there's the poster, but here's the book too. It came out phenomenal. I had a great publisher. Nick is throughout the whole book, and so I wanted to point that out, that Nick's probably our top explorer with me, just because our minds work so well together. So when you see me look at my phone, I'm not looking at text messages, I'm not browsing the internet.
I should text you.
It's about me. I will be looking at my notes because I want to make sure I'm thorough with everything that you came here for. Okay, so I like to cover the who, what, where, when, why, and how. So, why do we do this? Why do you do it, Nick?
Well, it's an adventure. I enjoy exploring, but I'm from the Central Valley. I moved here 5 years ago. I met him about 4.5 years ago, and we started doing this together. And what a lot of people ask is, the first thing they say, what do you find when you're down there? I'm like, honestly, I'm not even thinking about finding things. I'm just interested in showing, we do videos when we're down there, and I'm just interested in showing everybody, what's right here below us. It's right here below us. And it's just so interesting. That's pretty much why I do what I do.
Do you ever find any gold? You don't have to answer that. That's
I can't talk, you gotta ask Matt.
We're not looking for gold. I don't think we would find anything. You have to have a whole different pickaxe, shovel, explore. We are using this. And you can see the age and the miles on this thing, a $6 flashlight from Walmart. And we don't do anything expensive because this thing has been through heck and back. It has fallen, it has smashed, and it's got replaceable batteries. Because if you go in and your battery dies, my book opens with the first words, you have to hear what you cannot see. If this goes out, you're groping the walls. That's almost 3,000 lumens. And why? I have to be able to see several hundred feet in front of me. And then usually I'm the front that's going in. And you'll probably see in the videos too, as I'm doing this. What am I listening for? Footprints, hoofs, running, mountain lion, bears, and if it's the other way around and we're in, and the face of a lion is at the end, we're at the end, and I see a mom coming in after her baby, we're done. And it happened. We were all the way in, faced out, and I looked, and its head poked up. We woke up its baby. We hightailed out of there so fast because she could have seen us go in. And we can't have a tragic moment like that. So how do you find out if there's animals living there? Footprints, scat, all over the place, because they're living in there. But I'm listening back and I'm also listening to water dripping from the ceilings. If I hear that, where is it coming from? And is our vibrations going to bring that whole ceiling down? How much do we see collapse?
There are collapses, we run into collapses all the time, we're climbing over and walking around. It's unbelievable, it's amazing.
We usually don't mess with collapse because if it collapses once, it can keep going, but sometimes you're just going, God, let's find out what's in there. Mike Monk, he'll thank me later. So I got to do an interview from BJ Hansen, Star 92.7, that was awesome. Access to All of Me with Ryan Campbell. And recently with Good Day, Sacramento, with Cody. And we went underneath Table Mountain. Who knows what Table Mountain is? Who knows what it is? Good. It's mostly sand. And these mines were perfectly cut. I think Chinese did it because of what's on the wall. I'll get to that. But I took just a stick and hit the sand and a clump came down. So you can see how fragile they are. Reopening a mine. Nature has a way of closing these mines up by bringing down sediment over the decades, and it closes them up. So we would never know there's something there until a storm comes and washes that back open. And a buddy of mine said, you gotta come out here and come check this out, bring a shovel. So I opened this thing up and pushed the dirt with my foot, and then threw more out, widening up. Remember that one, Jeremiah?
Yep.
And I fit inside and said, now hold my beer. Give me my flashlight. And he goes, he's in. And I just disappeared into the earth. I slid down and the sides were stacked boulders, like some giant went in and made his own home. It wasn't cracks, they were stacked. How did this happen? The Ice Age? And in front of me, it goes up and over, collapsed, and what's hanging down is limestone by the knives. If I tried to squeeze through that and the earth moved, there will be two of me. We don't want two of me in this world. Now, how I got started, this is in the book. 1978, I was 9 years old. Who wasn't into forts when you were a kid? You got to get away from the parents and a bunch of us, baseball cards. Well, my friend did something different. He had a stack of plywood. You didn't use AI, you didn't use CGI, you used your mind. And my buddy says, Max, Joe built another fort. So he took plywood, put it up on its sides. They're 8 feet, right? And put a lid on top. Now he's got an 8-foot carport, sort of. He fastened another 8 feet. See where it's going? An above-ground dark tunnel out of his own mind. And I saw this and I said, oh, wow, man, that's awesome. And we went in there like this with our baseball cards, there's pillows, and it went to the right, and it went to the left. This guy was a genius. So 2014, a carload of us are looking for a crystal cavern cave. Never found it, we were way off. Right off the road are some relics, a building. We go down that building, we turn around, and right underneath the road is a gate, tracks from the 1870s coming out of it, going like this to the most massive tailings pile, which is the guts of the mine, all the way down to the river. We go inside this thing, and all we had was these. I've never done this before, but it was intriguing because it reminded me of the fort. So we go in, up and over the collapse, there's a gate, and then there's a drift tunnel. They branch off of main head. So you have drift tunnels. We go in this drift tunnel, we're walking along this thing, and I'm thinking, if it ever came down, what do we do? There's a big opening, not enough to fit me in it, but I'm thinking that's our way out. I didn't know it goes down hundreds of feet. Now, I don't know how this happened. I'm standing there, and I go, that's the way out, man. Wow. And just as I said that, a pipe broke loose and took everything it was fastened to with it, right, almost hit me in the face, and took it down that, it's all on video. I think it's on here. And just went, I jumped out of the way, I did say shoot. I jumped out of the way because it almost dismembered me. It was huge what was attached to it, it just sucked it all down. So what did I think? Two things. Either I quit now, and think everything that I'm still in one piece for, have some rules. One, tell someone where you're going. Another one, have something outside that someone will recognize, like a fluorescent orange shirt. If it collapses on the front, that's the most vulnerable. They're in there. That's good. But if you're all in and you have nothing to show anybody, you're a part of the mountain forever. That's the end of the book of something that happened. The adrenaline. And it gets more. And why? Because we're doing this. It's like the Matrix. I don't know what or who is around the corner. And there's corners. I don't know what we're going to see. Now, recently it was said by this talk show host, okay, Maxx said something about who we're going to see. What does that mean? One time did we hear voices. There was other people in the mine for the first time. I think they were digging for gold. I think they thought that was our mine, and they quickly got their stuff together, and they hightailed out really quick. And I thought, cool. I'm just going to keep digging where they were. We're all alone. That's the one that had the bear in it. And you know what? We hightailed out there, and the bear thought, cool. Get out. So, you may have heard me use the word, what do I call this up here? WKV,
Underworld. The underworld.
Yeah, why? Why not just underground? Because there's so many. There's some that are so big, you can fit Walmart and Lowe's inside. Right through a 2-foot opening. Under Sonora.
Right under downtown.
Right through a 2-foot opening. That one took me 3 years to get permission, and aren't we good with permissions?
Yeah, we always ask permission. We always go find someone and find out who owns the property, whose mine it is. We never go anywhere without permission. We don't ever go without asking.
No trespassing signs, private property clearly says we don't want anybody here. You have to abide by that. I don't care if it's the most awesome looking mine with gold in it. It doesn't matter, we have to stay out. Or if you get the invite, permission, or public, then it's all good. Now, brick. Who's familiar with Sonora? Okay, when you go into Sonora, you're going to see a lot of little alleys. Those are called fire breaks. They made those so if the town burned up, it didn't take the whole side with it. They split those up so it didn't jump. A lot of our town is made of brick. The Sonora Inn, who knows the Sonora Inn? Okay, the iconic yellow hotel. We were in the crawling ground, and we see that there is a hole in the ground. Why don't you tell them? Sonora, what did we find in the Sonora Inn?
A whole separate room that didn't look like it had been touched for, how long would you say?
I think before it was a hotel, before it was a grocery store, before it was an exit from the burlesque theater that is now Bank of America.
And if you go down there, just saying, there's a doorway that goes straight across to the Bank of America, but it's sealed up. And then Lisa's Thirsty Prospector down the way, the old legends, there's a doorway. She wanted us to dig that out. We went in to dig it out one time, but it's just all solid. It's just dirt. It's just been filled in. But you can tell it's a plain doorway right there, right across the street to that city hotel, where that is.
Yeah, and now the Sonora Inn has an arch brick. Whenever you see an arch brick, just like Rome, they built those like that for stability, so the entrance can come down. One side of the tunnel, you can buy your booze, and you went through the tunnel, this is the policy then, and you can pick it up on the other side during Prohibition. Genius. Also down there were panels of film crews and actors, including John Wayne and Michael J. Fox, probably when he did Back to the Future 3. Someone punched them out and stole them, but were caught, but they never received the signatures. But we got to see what was left. I think I have in the pictures, I backed up into something's hand on my shoulder down there. If it's in the pictures, I'll get to that. Continuing. Yeah, the dangers. Poisonous gases. This device is a lifesaver. People ask me, do you ever buy a canary? Do you know the pet shop look on their face if I have to go into there and buy another canary for every mine we explore? PETA would have mine. No. We have technology now. So when I turn this on, if it detects hydrogen sulfide, low oxygen, I think it's carbon monoxide, or anything poison, this thing's going to go off like a loud siren, and it's a terrible noise. Because before, getting back to the canary, miners would put a canary in, and if it did this and fell to the ground, it was dangerous gas. We don't do that no more. But I do take a gas meter with me. There are pits that you can fall in. You can go right up to a vertical shaft. So by the way, a shaft goes down, and at it goes straight. The drip tunnels go off to the sides, and then you have your inclines. When something goes down, never want to go head first. You get stuck, and if anybody knows about Nutty Putty Cave, John Jones, 400 feet in, like Shawshank Redemption, he got stuck. He's my size. He couldn't back out. He saw it goes further down. He goes in it completely like this, like a caver does. And just went, feet up. They never got him out. That cannot happen. It's all over YouTube. Now, the Celts mine. That is a chapter in the book called No One Will Hear You Scream. This mine, I found out that sound doesn't do this. It does this to the wall and this stays. We go inside this thing about 30 feet, and right at the tunnel floor, it's all flooded. You can't get over it. It's 8 feet long. You would have to have boards. We go on the walls and positioning our feet on rock. Remember, this is flooded with nasty water. It's full of boards, and who knows what's down there. I don't want to fall in. So I'm holding on to the wall and doing this very carefully. Okay? Just like this. I didn't know what I just did. I muddied the water with my feet. If I do this whole tunnel, there are wooden timbers called stalls holding up the ceiling. That's all. What are they doing now? I mean, 100 years ago, they were doing a job, but they're all rotted, so that thing can come down. So I go all the way to the end, I come back, the water's all full of mud. Where do I put my feet? How am I going to get across? So I put my foot on one rock I think is there, and I do this. I have my flashlight and my backpack, I have everything in my hands, I'm holding on with one hand. Now I do this. Hey! Like the top of my lungs, telling the crew outside, we were supposed to stay together. They're out there battling, and I'm screaming, I'm holding on to this thing, hoping I'll slide off. Screaming. For 15 minutes I was holding on to the wall. Finally they came in and took all my stuff. And that's when it realized to me, sound does not travel, even 20 to 30 feet. Screaming. And muddy water, you can't see anymore. What's under you? Tracks, 1800s, they really neat, they're stamped. You have dates on them, but they're really thin. Let's see, bones, sometimes guts. Because animals live in these things and they go and attack something and they bring it into their home, we go inside there and we see what's left over. I just recently explored the Skull and Bones mine, is what I titled this, under Table Mountain, because it had a cat skeleton with its mouth wide open. It had a horse skull in it, and whatever all these bones are called, they were everywhere. I don't know what took place in it, but it's in these pictures up here. A winds is a vertical shaft. It's got wood timbering, so you can go down ladders, and you don't know what's at the bottom down there. I have a weird feeling about vertical. I don't know what's down there. Kind of freaks me out. Relics, that's neat. You know what an ore cart is? Put all the rock in it, and they push the carts, right?
They've got one in front of the gas station down here.
Yeah. To find one in a mine is a huge plus because nobody stole it. Can you imagine somebody lowering this thing down the hill and it getting let loose, and you're just driving along with your family, and here comes an ore cart tumbling down the hillside? When we find them still sitting on the track, and we can get inside of it and get some footage of pushing each other, that is a huge plus. They're still working.
It's usually me that gets pushed.
Yeah.
Just saying.
This is the thing with trick photography in these lines. I don't know what happens. But I took a picture of a friend of mine. I forgot what he's holding up. Just snapped the picture. Call it shadowing, call it lighting. When I look back on the picture, there's another huge face in front of him. With lips, eyes, makeup, and a huge arrow going right through the head as clear as crystal. I don't know what it is. I showed it to him. I said, have you ever seen anything like that? And I think it was just shadows. I think that is just the way photography happens. There's a picture on here, you'll see me sticking out of mine. I have no face except an eyeball, and there's another one of me looking down at myself. We'll see it. I mention this just because it's part of the whole coolness of doing these things. So, I get asked this, how do you fit in all those tiny holes? It's very David Copperfield. There's a lot of magic involved and a whole lot of, no, it's a shovel. And I know I got a few on there. Okay, tools. I have this, right? Why? Two reasons. The ceiling could be very high and where rock dislodges, a small one could do a lot of damage. You can scrape your head on rusty things coming out of the ceiling and it wouldn't be good, you'd be hurting. Yeah. This is a $3 holder from eBay. I put my cell phone on. It's the first person that I can see everywhere I'm going. Now, backup batteries. Backup batteries are very important. You could never have too much lighting or backup batteries. So, you got that. And then you got another one. Really glad that worked. All else fails. Who knows what that is? Little tools for rave parties, right? No. Little snap light. You bust this thing and it lights the whole thing up green. Your best bet is to get out safely so you know where you're going. Last thing you want to do is grope in darkness and you... So, lighting is always really good. Fells naphtha soap. Why? Would I want this?
You can write with it.
Bushes. What bushes will we come across that I need this soap?
Poison ivy.
Yes. If there's a creek nearby, that right there works the same as a $30 poison oak oil remover. Use that, and you're good. It worked. 98 cents. So, permission covered. There's one over in Angels Camp. A guy gave me a phone number and I called it and I left a message. I said, here you have one of the largest mines in Angels Camp. He calls me back in 30 seconds and I said, why so fast? And he said, because you asked first. That was the importance. And now he's giving me the gate code, platinum access. This thing is so big that the flooded vertical shaft goes down about 3,000 feet. It's an actual lake. You go up the walls of the limestone sand holding on to the electric cord. You go around it with all the bats and all the guano. That's the bat droppings. You tie the rope, and with a rope you have knots in it so you don't slide and burn your hand. I'm against the surface holding on to this rope, looking below me. I'm walking like this, try to get over to the other side. Somehow the floor let loose, and all this rock slide started happening. So I'm dodging out of the way, and I stop and I hear a huge boulder tumbled as loud as you can imagine and hit that vertical shaft. And I'm still like this. I go, whoa, what was that? I mean, it was terrifying. It's so loud, the acoustics inside there. So it's really good to be careful with how much you stomp around in these things. Boots. Excellent. Waterproof boots. You don't want to walk in nasty water. Yeah, we talked about the burlesque theater. Girls couldn't be out late at night, so they went underneath the tunnel of Stockton Road into the Sonora end, out from the public. Isn't that cute? If you've been to Sonora on the backside of Stewart Street, have you ever seen a door that says Sonora Rooms? You will now. It's behind the closed-up Umpqua Bank across from the Armory, kitty corner of the Sonora Inn. So, that was the red light district. Yeah. Ladies would be up there. And I guess minors and gentlemen would go pay a visit, but this says Sonora Rooms, and that's what it was, part of the brothel system in all that area. Just a little history on our downtown area. Newspapers, been in the Union Democrat on the front page and on the inside 15 pictures, and then also the Calaveras Enterprise that took notice, and the Sonora magazine just recently, in a cave loaded with spiders. Remember Indiana Jones? He says, "There's something, senor." He turns around, there's loaded with tarantulas. That's this cave. We don't hurt them with this, because everything has a right to them. Thorns. You ever try to walk across berry vines? It's terrible. They're like rope. And once the thorns get into your leg, they're stuck there, and you have to try to rip them off. On top of getting poison oak all over the place. And then who knows what stinging nettle is.
Oh, yeah.
We're there. We're looking for this mine that's 1.5 miles. It's placer mine, and it's all river rock stacked up to the side, which is called gobbing, 20 feet high. Instead of hauling it all out, they just built walls of waste rock. It's flooded up to here, the whole way in. Canyons. The back one, a pile, was about 4 feet tall. I don't know why, but I heard it's great fertilizer. Before we go in, just the way I do everything in life, and I walk through these bushes, and you know what poison oak feels like when you scratch it and it stings real bad? This was something else. And I said, oh, my arms are itching. Whoa, what is this? It's stinging. My friend says, it's nettle. Metal? Of course. He says, no, it's stinging nettle. I go, what is that? Never heard of that. He says, it's a stinging nettle bush. I had the water to cool my arm for the next hour, maybe. Oh, it was terrible. And let's see. What's your favorite explore, Nick?
This one time we went together, there was you, me, and, was it just you and me, or was it you and me and Stephen? And we were cruising around, and we saw this guy with his dog, and he looked all mean, so they didn't want to stop. So I said, you know what? Let's just stop and ask, because it doesn't hurt. You always got to ask. Let's just stop and ask. You get out and ask him. So I got out, and I went over there, and the dog started barking and going off, and they thought for sure, and this guy was yelling, and they thought for sure I was done. So they went the other way. Yeah, no, he started. And he was yelling at the dog, and I politely asked, like I always do, and like we always do, and he said, sure, go ahead. So we went back, and it's always good to walk sideways when you're in these mines, or on a hill or wherever.
You mean position your feet
Yeah,
sideways.
position your feet sideways, yeah. So we were walking sideways, and it looked like it dropped off. It looked like a vertical shaft. And we got closer and closer and closer. It was stairs dug into the dirt. I've never seen a mine like this ever. And that was in about 1,000 feet in. We had already gone in about 1,000 feet. And so we went down these stairs, and there was a little tiny hole. And there's no one here. He says, I'm going. So he went in there, but he didn't get very far. He came back out. But that was my favorite. And that's the profile picture on my Nick Jones Underground on Facebook. I'm trying to remember. I'm so tired right now. I just got back from I've been on the train for a week. I did 2 shows in Montana on Monday, and then I did 3 shows on Tuesday and Wednesday in Idaho. And I just got home this morning about 10:30. And then this guy called me and said, come on over. So I came join him. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's been so many. There was one where a friend of his, we of course got permission to hike across. We probably hiked 2 or 3 miles, and it was between 2 rocks. It was just a little hole between 2 rocks. We snuck in there, and it opened up. Most of them, they open up. Not all of them, but most of them, they open up. So it opened up. We went in. I bet we walked in there a mile. And then the water started. So we started in the water. Eventually, we went in so far that the water got up to here almost. Remember that? And, but it kept going. We could see we shined our light and it just kept going. But the water just kept getting deeper and deeper. We couldn't, to the top of our waders. I mean, there's been so many, and I just can't think of.
We touched on that one. It doesn't just, the stairs don't just curve, the whole wall's curved.
Yeah,
The entire thing goes to the end, and the whole thing spirals down.
Yes, spirals down and turns around.
Never seen anything like it.
So cool.
So, and that's gonna be in the pictures too. So, another thing too, is part of my uniform, if I'm recognized, if I'm walking out in public, is the red helmet and the long sleeve red sweater. A real thin one. Long sleeves, I don't do well with poison oak. A smidge and I'm done, I hate it. So I wear long sleeves, I don't care how hot it is. But we walked before on Washington Street going to go look at something, and you drive by saying they watch their channel, and I tell them, the real heroes are the real miners.
People
We're just
yell
trying
at
to
us,
hold
driving
them.
down the road, honk at us, way yell.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just talking to Lisa today about when we took her grandkids down. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So, have you ever heard that there's tunnels under Sonora?
We've been there.
We
We've been there.
were in them. We found them. They're rock walls, but they're only this tall, 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide. In the middle of December, I go in and he's screaming because he can take really good pictures. It's all stacked rock, at least this tall. But the ceiling is down here, and there's boulders like this. This travels all throughout downtown. And I'm crawling on my knees, I don't have knee pads. I can't hear what he's saying. So I'm going, what? No, I can't turn around.
Stop right there, just stop, don't
Let
move.
me get a picture. Well, here's the thing. I was looking for a drainage, sewer drainage to pop out of. Where I think it's gonna be, I went at least maybe 300 feet in, and where it was gonna be, it wasn't there. My mind started playing tricks. Where am I? Am I in another tunnel? Am I somewhere into the city that if this collapsed, they ain't gonna find me? So I tried to turn around and pulling my legs, and it's cramping up, really painful. Trying to turn around, hoping I don't kick these rocks and have it come down.
Because they're all loose, they're not cemented in or anything, they're just stacked there.
Yeah, and it was an area that we probably shouldn't have been. We didn't know any different, and so we left the location. We always leave locations out, but yeah, we were able to find them. The importance of an orange shirt outside of the mine tunnel, tell someone where you're going to be, and I think that's it. People ask us, don't you know how dangerous this is? I've driven on highways and seen car wrecks that are far more worse than what's going to probably happen to us. Very little risk of what could happen. These have been there since at least the 1850s is the earliest date I've seen. I was in a cave tunnel so tight that right in front of me it said 1853, and the lady's name was in script. To think that the lady was right where I was at one time, that long ago, and her name is still there. So that's that. I think we can get to.
I don't know if you touched on it yet, but we don't take anybody with us.
Yeah, I get it all the time. People don't see what goes on behind the scenes of what I call the mental torture and the physical abuse that we put ourselves through just to be able to find these. You have to go up hundreds of feet, sometimes crawling on all fours through the thick brush. It's havoc on the knees, and you'll feel it the next day for a few days. We're not fit, we're out of breath, we're not young like we used to be.
It took a while, man.
We're still I look like him in training. But it takes a lot to be able to find these. Yeah. Nick's been a great caving friend to go with us because we share ideas. And I think it's time that we go ahead and look at this with the pointer. And how do I activate this?
Thank you again, everybody, for being here.
Oh.
Hey, before we do that, can I get a quick picture with everybody? Come here. Come here.
A selfie.
Yeah, well, let's do a video. Everybody wave. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being here.
These etchings on the wall, from what I understand, are from the lamp, what's it called, carbide. They used carbide for lighting. They were able to etch into the wall and make marks of how many ore passes went in and out of this mine. Notice it's ore and then crossed. That's how many times the cars would have gone out of this mine. That's the one with the bear. And I've got a
Oh, that's
picture of the
Tracy.
bear. Yeah. under Sonora.
Oh, yeah.
This has, we just did this recently, this has a massive boulder on top of it that's sinking into the hillside and it's ready to take this all down. Anybody who's in it, I feel free to find a way to get out. Oh, at the end of this tunnel right here, if you get a rope and you go down a little bit, you'll find 1891 and 1896 Morgan silver dollars laying at the bottom. They're all still there, as far as I know. When we see something, we leave. Okay. That's the one I just recently did with Good Day Television. The earlier date that's here is 1857 car, and there's names everywhere, but these are the best ones I can make out. When you go to Jamestown again, Condon is the yellow building next to the little market. Edmund D. Gage, I don't know who that is. We have Freemason symbols, a star, Christ, December 18th, and look what it is. It's Chinese can. It's not the town, though, that just burned, sadly. It is near. See the water levels, the little white lines? That's where it was flooded at one time. That's the mine tunnel that was loaded with bones. I think it's a cat going by the tail. He was about this big. I think he's been there probably since the mine was dug. And if it's 1857 on the wall, he may be that old. Just really flat. Under Sonora?
That's the one you were talking about, you could fit the Walmart and Lowe's in.
That's a part of it.
Yeah.
So we did this one. We went in it. That bottom is the mirror of the ceiling. The bottom does not look like that.
That's water.
That's still water mirroring. We got it and stirred it all
Yeah,
up.
that's what it looks like before we get into it.
We couldn't get into that hole back there. It was up to here, and the ceiling was here. And I don't be good with water. Okay. Calcium trip. Anybody see the movie Alien? That's what the cover of my book is fashioned after, the egg. That's where I got the idea from, that whole look. Sigourney Weaver. This is where I'm coming out from, seeing the script and her name carved on the limestone in that cave. I got jammed up in this one. Getting stuck is terrifying because you feel like a fox trapped in a cage. Your first thought is, okay, now I just want to get out. But there's two ways your mind can go. One is, I got in here a certain way and I'm getting out of here the same way. Or, I have to get out of here right now. And you get jammed up or stuck and you take 3 ribs out like I did. It was up against my rib plate, my chest plate, and I could not get out. I don't know why I got in there. So I told my friends just yank me out. When they did, it went right over my ribs and took 3 out. That was painful. And I had to go back in. So some things you just have to say, maybe not. That's it. I'm trying to get out. How did I get into this thing? Look at me. So, okay, so this is downtown. Is there a way that we can pause the video? It's a curved wooden door. It's heavy, and in it is, I think, a cold storage. But the pickaxe marks on the back of the wall looks like a creature was in there trying to find its way out because they're really heavy in there. It looks like something was trying to paw its way out. And it's behind one building under lock and key twice. Camp 9, up to here. I brought down, I took that thing, flipped it upside down, as slow as I can go, and I don't know what's at the bottom. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. Okay, that is, there's a bridge right up here, right above me. I'm underneath it. A wooden bridge. This is why I don't like taking people. We have a new friend with us. And I tell him, when you're on a bridge in a mine and you have iron tracks, stay on the iron tracks, not the rotted wood from the 1850s. We all go across one at a time, hugging the wall, staying on the tracks, and we hear like a bag of Doritos being stepped on. Crunch, he fell right through it like Wile E. Coyote, and his arms saved him from falling through. a whole massive void. He's just like this, and we had to help him get back up. And all I could think of was, this is what can happen. I'm glad he was safe. Angels Camp, that's that massive one that the guy gave us permission to. That's part of it.
And that stairway is so narrow.
Yeah. Under Sonora? Under Sonora?
Yeah.
Under Sonora?
What
This
is
just
that?
started. Roots found their way through the rock. Like water, it will find its way. It is just stunning. What is that? Abalone. What's it doing here? I like to think that maybe because all of this was under the sea at one time, but where this was, it was in the same spot there were arrowheads. That was probably traded by settlers that came over here and met with the Native Americans and traded abalone. Because it's scattered all over the place. Again, whatever is found and taken photos of, it stays there. That was just in my hand. A lady, how are we doing on time? What time you got?
7:45.
Okay. A lady says she has something in her backyard that we should go check out. And it's a hole about the size of me. It used to be a haulage tunnel, which means carts went in and out on tracks at one time. Sediment has come off the hill for so many decades, it's stacked up, filled up, close it up to where you have this much of an opening. And I think I have a picture of it. I slide in there, I get down, and there's a concrete wall about up to here. It's keeping the water from flooding the mountain and her house. I'm looking at this and I'm just going, this is where the extra X comes on my name. I gotta do it. I gotta see what's in there. I crawl over it, and the waders go real tight.
It's amazing when you get in the water. It's
Yeah.
amazing how they just.
We found out that's straight at it. No drift tunnels, no verticals, nothing. Went about 3,000 feet. It ended at such a significant collapse, it looked like part of waste management. It was just rock flooding in, and I said, we should probably think about getting going. Huh. That's what started it. Love my bell bottoms. I love to say I still wear them. So, this is just a staged picture. We don't do any mining. I just thought it was a really cool shot of all the gear that I wear. It just kind of looked like it. Those are skulls holding up the ceiling. Look how they're like telephone poles. Miners really knew what they were doing. Underneath one of the buildings that are downtown has this in it. We don't know where it goes. And
I don't know how deep it is.
yeah,
It's down.
Yeah.
it's
straight
just
down.
right there.
We just took a picture of above.
There's the bridge. Right in the front is where our friend.
What's that? That looks like a well. Kind of.
It's a well, man. If you're walking where I'm coming from, imagine falling into that. You can fall into a vertical 7 feet, and unless you can jump or know how to place your feet and toes, you're not getting out. It is so straight down, there's no way to get out, even if the edge is right up here. We tried it and tested it. It is not a good thing. Friends, there's vertical shafts everywhere. Some go over 1,000 feet. It just goes straight down. And why? Because they were following the quartz vein. Sometimes it goes down. I think I have the picture on here. It goes straight down, and they just keep going and going. So they had a head frame going over it to haul all that rock out. This is typical. That could be raccoon. But when you see these things, you just wonder what it was, what happened to it, and how long it's been there. Okay, I do get a question. Do you ever find gold? If you find that, friends, that's it.
Did you leave that one?
That was on public.
Well, he said he leaves everything he finds.
Actually, it was so big, yeah, I left it. I do have a vial of a lot more. It's out there, friends. You just got to dig for it. It's really got to earn it, but it's there. Me and my buddy Eli were filming the spiders.
They said they only found like 10% of it back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's everywhere.
Good luck.
Miners, I know, dragon's blood. miners call it dragon's blood, iron everywhere, just dripping. Eli, our friend Eli, we send him into the really small things because if I get in there, I'm never getting out. He went into this one and it's stalactite hanging everywhere. There's the Sonora rooms. Yeah, that won't play. There's the
Oh,
steps.
there it is, that's the steps.
That's my nephew.
Yeah. And those stairs are so narrow.
So, like the Matrix, what good is a mouth you have got one to talk with? Never send a machine to do a human job. Or backwards. Anyway, this is a really trippy picture. Me looking at myself. I had to say that one. Under Sonora. Under Sonora. Under Sonora. A really awesome cave to where if you keep pulling yourself, you go so tight, you get wedged up in those things, you can't back out. It's pointing in your back like swords. Okay, this is the end of the book. It's called The Terrifying Sand Timer. We're down in an inclined shaft under Table Mountain. It's all sand, and it's right through the wall. A friend of mine goes in, barely fitting in, and this is in there, 70 feet down. Why? We don't know. Hey, look who it is. One of my favorite pictures.
Hold on.
Also under Table Mountain. The Sonora Inn. That's the room we discovered. Underneath the concrete plate. That's what I walked into in the dark.
Okay.
That's what he was back then, he was telling anybody, he felt it on his
It
shoulder.
was that hand that my shoulder was at that height.
Oh my. It is.
Yeah, well, no, I think it's a prop, but to me it was real for the minute. It's Boris Karloff, remember? So I'm filming like this, and the hand was about right here. And there it was. Whoa, I didn't even see it, because when I went there, it was dark. I think it's just a prop, something really cool to put in the window. More of the room we found. Now I think this was just to catch debris from falling down there. I'm not sure.
That's
Okay.
the rock.
Yeah, there's the rock tunnels.
That's underneath Sonora, that's underneath.
It'll still be a mystery to a lot of people because that one there we keep real quiet. Just don't want anybody to hit stuff, you know? People see this stuff and they see the finished pictures. They want to go in there and they want to do the same thing. But if you, I had some young kids telling me they go, we found the mine that you went into. We found a bunch of bats and we were throwing rocks. I said, you hit the nail on the coffin. I'm never going with me again. If I hear you doing anything to animals, you are done. I'll never take you with me. You gotta be respectful.
But see all those rocks that are just stacked there, they're not sealed, or there's no concrete on them, it's not, they're just stacked.
Look at that.
One wrong move and it would all come down.
So where are the openings that you go to get down into this stuff?
All over the place.
Oh, okay.
You just have to know where to look. Sometimes, I mean, we'll go hiking. Sometimes we just go hiking. Sometimes just to see if we can find anything, and sometimes we just end up not finding anything at all. It's not easy sometimes. Everybody thinks you just drive up to them and go in. No, that's not really like that. It's cool.
Only, you have to squeeze in. It's surrounded. It's tight.
Yeah, a lot of different colors down there. Probably pretty big. It is. It's really cool.
Oh, a lot of these don't.
It's already wrong.
This is getting in there.
It should still be red.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm getting into that.
This one takes
Here.
They're over
Just take a
there.
minute and grab that rock in front of you.
Yeah, this one's a good one.
That's the one.
And this one right here. Look at the roots.
It's not, at this point, it's not about size. It's, you gotta kind of corkscrew and
There it is.
It's all upper body strength for that one because I can get my
Fingers up, foot up.
you gotta get out.
Did you say you couldn't?
Eli.
This was that day we went, and then, this that day we hiked over the hill.
I didn't know this room is loaded with ants. by the building. They all came out.
Okay, can you get back up?
He almost came with us. He had to attend to a family need, and I told him, make sure to put your focus on important things first. You know how quiet it is? Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Do you have a video inside the cave with all the spiders?
Not with me. I think the picture might be on here. They were scattering all over the place, and it doesn't bother me.
You don't want to see that.
I think what terrifies me most is just getting jammed up. I can care less about anybody who's in there or anything. It's just if I can't get out. Another thing too is you're going so fast and you're going, and if there's no openings or ventilation shafts, the air gets real thin. If you get to the bottom of a cave and there's there's another part too. 6 minutes. We go into the small chamber area. We're able to stand up, but the opening was about down here. We found out a rule because we almost couldn't get back out. No one knew where we were. This is the early days. So send the biggest guy in first and then the smaller guy in. Because if the big guy can't get out, the smaller guy, he's the last one. He can go out and get help. But if I'm my size and it's real small, I get jammed up. They're all jammed up in there with me. And I don't want to be in a smaller room with a bunch of guys all sweating. We're not going to get along. What music's that from? He came into town and they called him the stranger. Marshall Duncan. High Plains Drifter. We found a card.
Pretty cool.
30 seconds of a mile and a half. You really can't see it. Just kept going. So, at the end of one of these tunnels, there's a massive vertical pit, and the rails are going over our head. Ore carts do not fly into the air and land perfectly onto rails again like in Indiana Jones Part 2. That's just, the gravity and dynamics do not meet up well. And so they did go over people at one time. I'd love to have seen that. Of course, with boards.
That spoils everything.
It does. Okay, that's the fun one.
Here we go. Sorry for the shakiness. It's reversing though.
One time you would have been able to walk in.
You got your shovel? Top? Okay.
Trying to do this one here. That's it. Seven your chest.
Wow, almost chest deep.
3,000 feet. My first mind experience. This is it.
That's the way out right there, man. That's gotta be. Wow, man. It's okay. No, some stuff just fell. Some what?
That's it.
Tell them about the time we were in that mine under Table Mountain, and who was it that was it Steve or was it Mike or who was it that was in there and it collapsed in on him and we had to dig him out? Remember we were in the mine, remember that mine that stayed unlocked so we could go in and we went in there and it collapsed on him? They collapsed and you had to dig him out.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's the end of the book. I only did that part of it. That's called the terrifying sand timer. Are we familiar with the words? Build your house on the rock mass, not on the sand. Scriptural. There's a reason for that, and we found out. So when we're underneath the riverbed and it's all plaster, it's all river rock in the ceiling. Who knows how much gold is in there? River rock's everywhere in the ceiling, and you can just do this to the walls and you can claw the walls apart. That's how sensitive it is. When I pitched this book to the public pretty soon, I haven't done any formal posts at all because I want that copy of me with all my gear sticking out of a mine tunnel this tight, and I'm going to say, it's finally here. You can get it here, and it's the most claustrophobic and collapsed and dense and dark, and it's just craziness that we've ever done. You can get it, the link below at Amazon. When I do that, I'm going to finish it off with, wait till you get to the end and find out what happened. That's it. Thank you.
Max.
You want to go with us?
Max.
Questions?
Questions?
Yeah, question.
We have time for questions?
Sure.
Do you have plans to go to that giant cavern in Vietnam?
Ooh, I saw that one. I would love to. That would be a bucket list for sure.
They said you can put a 747 inside.
Oh, you saw that one too? Where it said sometimes it's only wide shoulder width? Oh, I'd love to. I saw how big that thing was. When you realize how big the Earth is, you see something like that. That video just kind of surfaced. Anyone else?
The bigger openings that you encounter, are the mine shafts just dug into those, then they just happen to find them? Or are they just natural shafts that go to these big openings?
City.
You encounter these large openings in the earth.
Yeah.
Are the mine shafts going to those openings, or are they just natural openings that you find and go into these natural caverns?
They were dug, but I think what they were after was that massive expanse to just keep widening it and widening it and then hauling it out. But sometimes the openings are really tight to get into, which makes me wonder how they hauled everything out. They're so tight, especially someone small like me. And I'm glad you brought that up. That's the last chapter in the book. You'll get to it and you'll see the pictures. Is how it was designed and how I describe it is how in the world would they do something like this? Well, I'll just tell you. It's an upper room, but you don't walk into it. You gotta face a wall, and there's a hole at the bottom. You go underneath on your chest, and you look up, and there's a shaft going up about this tight. And you crawl up in there about 7 feet, and look, and there's a whole room. And I told my friend, I'm not going in there. And I'll leave it at that of what happened. I don't know why it would be dug like that. Who extracts a whole stope area of sand and hauls it down the size of me of a 7-foot shaft and then hauls it back out? I don't know why. That's the other thing. We're in this for the history and the mystery. The history is, we know it. We found it out. The mystery is, even historians don't even know. Come up here. Anyone else?
Have you guys done a lot of exploring up here in Big Oak Flat or Groveland?
Big Oak Flat and Groveland, I have no idea where I usually am. I've done a couple of parties at the, what's that saloon you have, the tavern? Yeah, I did a golf party and I did an 80s party, class of 87. It was a prom night theme.
Okay.
That's all I know about this area.
There's some cool mines around here.
Oh, there is? You know where they are?
I have one on our property. Yes.
Oh, really?
But it's full of water, but I went back and explored it. It's kind of cool, but I'm a gold miner, so, sorry.
We've seen such clear water that sometimes it doesn't bother me as long as it's clear. When we see it full of iron and sulfur and it smells and stuff, just kicking it up I worry about, because hydrogen sulfide can be kicked up and in seconds you can drop. That's why I listen. You had a question here?
Yeah, about the tunnels under Sonora, those are mines, right?
I think they were just drainage. Maybe they were just open drainage at one time. I don't know, they're very tight.
So were they?
It goes up like this.
So they were built under houses. They were not built before the houses.
I think, from what I heard, I think they're from the 1880s. And they're stacked so well. I think the Chinese did it. They were excellent rock stackers. We got rock walls everywhere, even in creeks, out on the meadows. So those ones, I don't know. I think they were open at one time, and I think the city was lifted. I truly think that downtown was lifted up. Because on the Sonora end, I see windows that go to nothing. and that's down in the basement. I think you were able to, because think about it, you know where Legends is, right? If there's a creek, they went to be on a bridge at one time. Nothing. Creeks have that hill that goes down to the creek, goes across, and comes back up. That all had to have been stacked and raised up, which is now Washington Street. I think that was all raised up because of water. Anybody else?
So the hard rock mines that you guys go into, do you ever go into drift mines where they used to go drift in to go get to the bottom of the old riverbeds? Have you ever done that where it's been like a conglomerate where it gets hard? It happens a lot up farther north, so that's why I'm asking.
Usually it's with water.
Well, it's water or they're just trying to get to the very bottom of the creek where the river had exposed where the gold is. And it's hard rock, but it's become a conglomerate, like a caliche that really gets hard rock altogether. I just wondered if you guys ever seen that. I saw mostly hard rock when I was looking at it. You guys are
Probably. I wouldn't know it because the intensity of what we're doing and the adrenaline, sometimes even the writing on the walls, I miss so many signatures because the heart's pounding. So we may have, because we've done so many, it's quite possible. Usually with stuff with water, I really try to avoid because I just don't know what's in it. And if we step into it, it worries me.
Yeah, if there's a vertical shaft if there's a vertical shaft, thanks. If there's a vertical shaft inside that, if there's a vertical shaft in that water and we're walking through it and we can't see because when we kick up the water, we go straight down.
Well, you said the Chinese did that sand one. Why would they do that with the sand unless they were trying to get to something? That's my point.
I think you're talking about the vertical one.
I'm talking about, yeah, where the sand one was. Like, so they're in there digging in the sand. They're trying to probably get to something, so.
Yeah, most likely the trapped gold that's in the
They're trying to get to
riverbed.
the
Yeah.
bottom of the creeks. Of the
Yeah.
old riverbeds.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I
That's what
think
a
they
good
are.
mine is. That's what I know.
As far as vertical pits, that round one that went really deep and was perfectly cut, some of the mines in the riverbed, the sand ones, are so perfectly cut because you can just claw with your fingers and make a difference. I think they were very particular on what they left behind. They didn't leave a mess. And at the end of both of those, the bones and skulls and the other one with the writing, each one of them ends with a square vertical shaft. And you have to be careful you don't go too much to the edge because you can fall into it. But I shined my flashlight over like this, and sadly those skunks, they fell. I don't think they made it. Even when they hit, I don't think they lasted. But they're there. Why square, and why were there vertical shafts at the end of a mine? Well, remember the mine tunnel had white lines? I think when it filled up, that was a drainage. It would go down. So they didn't have to try to pump it out. Really smart.
Well, you talk about those ones that go vertical too, because the ones we have on our property, they do that for air, to get air back into the mine. So there were some vertical shafts that we went up there and we found when we were exploring it. And it's just a small one.
Yeah.
Just enough to vacuum. So when you're outside of a mine entrance and it's July, I hate the weather up here. In July, when you go in front of it, it's an air conditioner. It is a really cold air blowing. When you get inside, it's so nice. When you step out, you go, and you go back inside. So yeah, they did that to create flow from gases. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.